the Nets are gonna say, "We'll offer you like 10 max."
Okay, let me do an introduction first. Hello, everybody. Hello, top audience. We're doing an emergency podcast. Jimmy Butler just requested a trade, and he apparently wants to go to Nets, Clippers, or Knicks. Okay, hello. Okay, so all
Okay,
right, let's talk
we
about
should say
this.
we've been talking for 20 minutes
We've
at
been
least.
talking for like a half hour, or 20 minutes, something like this, about this crazy freaking trade. Not trade, but like the news that just came out from Shams, and apparently he wants to go to either Nets, Clippers, or Knicks. Those are teams he will be willing to sign an extension with, but you know how trades work. He can get sent up to fucking Canada for all they care if they have the right assets.
He's going to the Knicks. He's going to the Knicks.
But okay, what young asset? Okay, let me put a title on this shit first. Okay, Jimmy Butt with two T's. Trade Jimmy Butler Emergency Podcast. Okay, there we go. That's that. Yeah. Okay, but yeah. Okay, so let's get into that. Okay, so we were just talking about how like, do you think that what's his name? My boy D'Angelo Gussel. Fucking. Do you think the Nets would want to be interested in like signing him to an extension? Do you think they want to sign him to an extension?
Oh, like they're interested, but they're nowhere near the same price.
They're nowhere near the what?
Nowhere near the same price range. Like D'Lo's gonna be asking in the high teens. Brooklyn might not want to even get past 10.
He's gonna be asking Zach LaVine money, at least.
Oh, totally.
Fucking Zach LaVine just screwed everything up for everybody. I still can't believe that like somebody gave him that offer sheet.
Although the Nets have a lot of expiring contracts, so
yeah, they like the Nets are in a really good money situation. Like they have a lot of flexibility in terms of like what they can do with their money and their players.
Okay, so
whoa.
Just trade D'Angelo Russell, and they still have a lot of cap space. They can hold out re-signing Jimmy Butler until they get someone else, and then once they're like hit the cap with this cap hold, they can go over the cap with the rest of the money they sign with them. So they could get a haul like Kyrie Irving and
So you're saying keep Russell on the extension?
No, trade Russell.
Okay.
So you have like a real piece,
right?
And then use like the connections that Jimmy Butler has to get a Kyrie Irving, or dare I say Kevin Durant to the Nets. Both of them. They could have all three of them. I think.
Oh my.
No, that's totally true. I mean, if you're the Nets or the Knicks, you got to be thinking, okay, if we trade for Butler, Kyrie is pretty much a certainty.
Yeah. Like, they want to play together.
Yeah, and they have a bunch, and like the Nets have a bunch of expiring contracts. Like, I was listening to this podcast on the Nets, but like
they have Enes Kanter.
No, that's the Knicks. That's the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks. Okay, yeah, sorry.
I said the Nets had a bunch of fucking expiring contracts.
Alan Crabb, 19 million. Demary Carroll, 15 million. Kenneth Frederick, 14 million. So that's like 1.5 max contracts. They got Jared Dudley. I'm gonna calculate this in a second.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure next season the Nets have enough room for 2 max contracts. At least. Like them and Knicks.
Oh man, it is.
That'd be surprising.
It is quite lit.
Or even if they don't have space, they can easily make it by trading away other assets they have.
Okay.
Yeah, you can trade away a bunch of expirings. What?
They have $35 million committed for next season, and next season the cap will be like 109 million.
Okay, so that's 2 max spaces, right?
That's 2 max spaces.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Isn't the cap 109 million this season? Or is it 99
okay,
million?
I think didn't Woj tweet it, or like Shams or something? I know the cap numbers are tweeted by one of those guys, I'm pretty sure, like a couple days ago. Okay, yes. I found it. Okay, so for 1920, the cap is 109, the salary and the tax is 132, and then in 2020 and 21, it's 118 and 143. So for 1920, the cap is 109 million.
Okay.
So they should have. So if they only have like 35 million committed, that they should have enough for 2 max players, right? So okay, so who would they trade if they want to go for Butler? The Nets.
Any of their sort of good young players, or they only really need one, right?
D'Lo, just give D'Lo and Kenneth Faried, let's say.
D'Lo, would the money work on that?
Yeah, D'Lo and Kenneth Faried is like 20 million. Yeah.
Yeah, you could give like a D'Lo, like a D'Lo and Kenneth Faried. Yeah, that could work honestly. Yeah, maybe.
And then Kenneth Faried for like another power forward they could use. And D'Lo and Kat are really close. Like they're
From the T-Wolves side of things, you got to think, how are we going to compare? We've got a center who can't defend. We've got a guy on a max deal who does like fucking nothing.
That's tough, Wiggins. That's tough. Yeah, and okay. Let's just add a point. Let's just add a young point guard who doesn't play defense either. Perfect.
Yeah, and also like you got to consider next season Towns is going to be on his huge deal.
Oh yeah, true.
So that's Towns and Wiggins, both your max players, or that's a huge amount.
Yeah, you have to assume
already
that, and you
committed.
have to assume if you're gonna trade for D'Angelo Russell, then like you're gonna sign him to an extension too, maybe.
Yeah, I think it really is going to be D'Angelo Russell, and I hope he takes like a huge leap.
You think they'll just trade for D'Angelo Russell and just pray to God that that he takes a leap or something?
Yeah, I mean, maybe they ask for like a Dinwiddie or maybe some of their like less great players, maybe like Travion Graham. Maybe they ask for like maybe they could even ask for a pick because Brooklyn, they've got their picks in the future.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be very good.
Yeah. Timberwolves could ask for a pick too.
But what leverage do the Wolves have to ask for
I mean,
D'Angelo Russell and the pick?
I mean, if the Nets wanna try and get Jimmy Butler now, they know they can get him on an extension, and they'll also have Butler's bird rights if they trade for him now. And so if you like give up a first round pick just to get the Timberwolves to bite on it, if you give it like a 2022 first round pick, so maybe it's like, okay, so maybe the Nets won't be as good then. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
They're probably gonna be good then. I mean, but like if they're not, then that's a pretty valuable first round pick. And you're like, okay, then you have more. Then that gives the Nets more leverage from the Timberwolves. You know what I'm saying?
Obviously the pick would be protected. So if the Nets like say for some reason don't get Kyrie and they are pretty bad, then they're gonna keep it. Like they're not gonna be so stupid as to throw away a pick like that.
Yeah, you could just like lottery protect it or something like that.
Yeah, and I think the leverage the Timberwolves have is that they have the Nets and the Knicks both coming after this, because the one of those teams that doesn't Butler and Kyrie, they're gonna suck.
No, like they're like the Timberwolves will have the leverage of like we're the ones who have Jimmy Butler and we're like, what was I gonna say? I forgot. But yeah, what?
Yeah, it's like if you don't trade for him now, when it comes to free agency, the other guy could get him.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna look really bad for you if you had the chance to trade for him, but it's like you didn't want to give up like a pick in the 20s. How are you gonna explain that?
Yeah, they can just give it the pick now, and like especially since they're in a position where they can go out and like get 2 max free agents, and they can acquire a lot of talent just from the money they've created. They don't exactly like need their picks, and they already kind of like know the young guys that they have with them, and like they know that the young guys who like they want to have going forward. So it's like, trading a first round pick that's from like 2022 isn't really much skin off their back. It's not like it's gonna be like a lottery pick or anything. Most likely, if they get Kyrie and Jimmy Butler. So
yeah, I'm just thinking like, what kind of if the Nets got Butler and Kyrie, they would have like a pretty nice actual set of assets to put around them. Like right now, their team's sort of built out of role players.
It is. Like
yeah, go for it.
They'd have to get a lot more role players put around Butler and Kyrie, and like
I know, but once you call that core in free agency, you'll have all these sort of older guys who are like, I want to get in on this.
Yeah, it's true.
They got
I forgot they got Ed Davis and Shabazz Napier this offseason too, and Jared Allen is a very good young player.
I know, but chances are they're probably not going to resign. Like the only players who are going to be sticking around are like Alan Crabb, obviously good shooter, good defender, probably going to be much better one when he has good players around him than right now when he's like the Nets' number 2 option.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Harris, another good shooter.
He signed an extension, didn't he?
Yeah, Travion Graham, underrated 3-and-D guy. Karis LeVert, another like good young player. Jarrett Allen, obviously, he could actually turn into like another like really good starter for them alongside Butler and Kyrie.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think he's definitely gonna be starting from going forward. They also drafted Tanam Musa. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but Musa, he could be interesting.
Yeah, I think that's a good guy to bring off the bench and kind of if you need like a scoring burst.
Yeah, exactly. So like, if they trade for him, they're gonna have a lot of flexibility. They trade for Butler now, they'll have a lot of flexibility anyway. They go out, get Kyrie, get some good role players, and they can be right there in the East, man. Like if they just do it right now.
Oh, totally.
What'd you say?
Oh, I just totally agree, especially if Kawhi doesn't resign.
Oh yeah, and then like you only really had to like what deal with the Celtics and then like maybe the
Yeah, the
Pacers.
Celtics and Philly. Yeah.
Yeah, and Philly. Yeah. So, shit, man. But if we have to think like who's most likely to get him, do you still think it's the Nets or like which one do you like more?
I think it's the Knicks.
Really?
Yeah, because I think.
They have
I was
Joakim
starting to
Noah.
get pretty convinced. Stop.
No.
Stop.
No, it's. Yeah. Sorry.
Timberwolves memes.
No, I think the Knicks are more desperate. Really.
Oh, really?
So that's why well,
Hmm.
I mean, they're paying Tim Hardaway stupid money. They're paying
that's true.
Joakim Noah stupid money.
Is
They're paying
Danilo
stupid money.
Gallinari the best player either of these any of these three teams can trade?
That's a good question.
Is he the best player any of these teams are willing to trade?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a better version. That's a better wording right there, because Kristaps Porzingis exists. But
Yeah.
I said can. Yeah.
maybe they'd be willing to part with Tobias Harris.
Oh no, I mean everyone on the Clippers is expendable.
That's true. Shit. Maybe it's Tobias Harris.
Tobias and Lou Williams.
Oh yeah, Lou Williams too.
That would be a good package.
Yeah, I think.
I think
This is
if they traded the Clippers, they'd be trying to get Tobias Harris, most likely. Yeah, like that
Yeah.
trade you posted, Mang. That's a solid one right there. I could see that happening. But shoot, man.
The trade is Tobias Harris and Milos Teodosic.
But Nigel, explain why you think the Knicks are most likely to get him.
And it's like I said, they're the most desperate. They're a team that doesn't really have much direction in where they're going. Porzingis, obviously getting his deal this season. They're gonna have to look at like, do they want to re-sign Moutier? What if Hazonia has a great year?
Oh, true.
Like Cantor is not going to be there anymore.
Yeah.
They don't really have anyone they kind of are looking forward to apart from like Porzingis might even want a trade at some point.
Yeah.
He's looking at this team and he's like, where am I getting the help?
Yeah, it's true. So maybe they can be like, So maybe they can go out and be like, hey, well, let's like go get this Jimmy Butler guy. He'll sign an extension, and then if we have Butler and Porzingis, then we can at least be like competitive on the bottom half of the playoffs in the East. We got David Fizdale.
Well,
what?
Yeah, even if they get Butler, they're gonna make moves to sign Kyrie. There's no doubt. They'll basically got their future asset to get rid of.
But do you think the Knicks have more interesting pieces than the Nets to trade though?
I think the Nets have way more interesting pieces.
Yeah, I think so too.
The Nets want to keep their pieces.
Yeah, I will post
this
something.
this isn't a do or die sort of season for the Nets, but if Porzingis hears that they had the chance to get Butler but didn't because they didn't want to like hand over the little bit extra, he's gonna be like, look, I don't know if I want to stay here for like another 4 years.
So you're saying the Knicks like want to keep their young pieces more than the Nets do?
Yes.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. I guess when you put it that way, I guess that makes sense.
Literally 2 days ago, the Knicks said they're not trading any of their draft picks anymore. Per Dan Devine.
Yeah, no, I think guys who are off the table for the Knicks in terms of trading for Butler are Porzingis, Ntilikina, and Knox, and possibly Mitchell Robinson.
I don't know if Knox is off the table just yet because
No,
they
I
gave the
mean
Summer
he's
League.
had a lot of hype in summer league, so
Yeah, maybe.
trading for like 1 year of Butler, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Nets probably just have like, I don't know. It just seems like the Nets have more interesting pieces, and like for the what's it called, for the Timberwolves to get, and it seems like maybe they'd be more willing to depart with some of the intriguing young guys than the Knicks would. So
Yeah.
And how many young guys do the Knicks have really?
they have like what? They have like friggin'
Ntilikina and Emmanuel Mudiay.
yeah.
Who do they
like,
have really? Like, who are these people?
No, like Media has like 0 value.
Yeah,
Exactly.
He does. Shoot, like there's Ntilikina who they're not gonna want to part with. There's like Hardaway Jr. I guess, but he's like 26, I think, and is like earning a little bit too much money.
He ain't no
Oh,
spring
he's
chicken.
not a little bit too much. He's on like 18 million a year.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
And he's committed for a long time. So
I mean,
I think the easiest way for them to kind of like maybe the T-Wolves do want Noah.
oh my god, I swear to God, bro. I swear to God, like when Timberwolves just goes too far, that's like.
But this time it won't have Jimmy Butler. I guess the original Timberwolves. Yeah, the Jimmy Butler wasn't in the 2011 Timberwolves, so
Yeah, that'll be
the
the
OG.
original Timberwolves. Timberwolves. But,
And they bring Carlos Boozer back.
yeah, I mean, I just think that if the Nets are more willing to like trade away some of these young guys, like if they're like, okay, we'll give you like Kenneth Faried and D'Lo, and maybe they're just really high on D'Lo or something. If they really want to invest on D'Lo, then the Nets will hit the jackpot there.
Yeah, I think D'Lo definitely the best sort of like centerpiece for this trade around Butler.
Yeah, I think he's probably the best piece that like excluding any like Kristaps Porzingis tomfoolery.
Best any of the 3 teams can offer.
Yeah,
and like he hasn't shown considerable improvement for the past 3 years.
Yeah, but like he's what? Isn't he still 21? No, he's 22.
He's 22. He was drafted young. So, at 22
Right.
you can still make a huge leap.
So like yeah, you hope so. Like I think what the thing with D'Lo is like you have this theory that maybe he can like turn into like this really he can turn into a much better player and just like be this like really special starter on a good team. Like there's still that hope with him. I don't think that I think that like if you have D'Lo, like, there's not really much reason to give up on him yet. Unlike like a guy like Andrew Wiggins, but you know how it is.
Yeah, I think if you're thinking D'Lo's like woes have been because of his situations rather than his skill, then it's worth it to take a chance on him.
I mean, like if I'm a Timberwolves fan or I'm like a guy in the Timberwolves front office and I see that and I'm like, let's center something around D'Lo, and like I kind of look at him and I'm like, okay, well maybe he hasn't improved much over the past few years, but like I don't think but like he definitely hasn't approached lost cause like in any way at this point. I think he still has he showed a lot of flashes last season. I mean, he looked lost at some points last season, but he showed a lot of flashes, and I'm like, I don't mind taking a chance on that. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's fine to take a chance on.
I think the problem is his contract situation at the moment is quite toxic because, like I said, the Nets aren't really wanting to give him an extension because he'll want money for stuff for potential he hasn't really shown yet.
Right.
If he gets traded to the Timberwolves, then the Timberwolves have that problem too. If they come to the end of the year and they have to basically say to their like centerpiece of a trade, look, we don't want you. Like we aren't going to reach an agreement on money.
Then they basically just lost Butler for nothing.
Exactly, yeah.
So they have to be very sure about what they want to trade for here.
Oh, totally.
And so like if they just yeah, they would have to because they already locked up Andrew Wiggins on all of that money. And then they're gonna have to sign Towns to an extension soon. And now if they get they get D'Lo, then he's gonna demand a lot of money as well. So.
Yeah, I think this is a really difficult situation with the T-Wolves, and I really don't see them getting anywhere near Butler's value back.
I mean, of course they're not. I mean,
No, I mean even for like rental Jimmy Butler value.
Okay, yeah. They might just like get completely screwed on the amount of value they can get from this. Just because like if he's only willing to sign an extension with these few teams, then it's tough to give. It's tough. It's not gonna be like I know you say that like DeRozan's like a salary dump, but like the guy is like an All NBA player. If you look at it
Oh, I
from the
know,
perspective
I
of
know.
like DeRozan's an All NBA player, then like the Spurs in terms of like the Kawhi trade actually got pretty lucky in terms of the value they were able to extract from. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like when I say he's a salary dump, he was a salary dump for the Raptors. For the
Right.
Spurs, he's a good player.
Only on
I
the
don't
Spurs though.
know.
I know what you mean. I'm just messing with you, but like
Yeah.
I know what you mean. So like yeah, but like okay, but using that as an example, like even that's a rare amount of value that you're gonna get for an all-star player. Like
I mean, when people were talking about trades for the Spurs, they were saying like DeRozan and OG. You know,
oh that would have been man as a Spurs fan that would have been fucking lit. I would have drove Kawhi to the airport if I heard we could have
but
gotten that.
instead it was Kawhi plus Green
Yeah,
for
that's tough. That's tough.
Kawhi. Yeah, for DeRozan and Pirtle. So it was a lot different, and the Raptors got a lot more value out of it than a lot of people
Yeah,
thought.
but like if you look at it in terms of like who the players are, like the Spurs still got like pretty dang good value out of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I'm also saying like that's what everyone was discussing, and
Right.
the Spurs got less. Look what we're discussing for the Timberwolves. They're gonna get less.
Yeah, like people were unironically talking about like, okay, well maybe the Spurs could get like what? Like what were some of these trade packages the Spurs people were like throwing around for the Spurs? Like I'm trying to remember. Like what
Yeah,
like from Philly,
basically
like what?
no, go ahead.
Like I don't know, like a Fultz, a Saric, and then like a protected first rounder or something like that. So value that's kind of iffy, but Spurs got lucky in getting some established value. Um, but with Jimmy Butler, yeah, you're not gonna get like half that for sure.
I mean, like, that's what I'm talking. Like, we're saying like D'Lo is best case here.
And even that might be a lot compared to what actually will happen. Like when the
Yeah.
trade goes down, we're gonna be looking at like, well, we thought it might be D'Lo, and then they got this.
Yeah, I'm just thinking from the Timberwolves side. What on earth do you do if you're the GM? How do you even
The
start
GM is
thinking?
Thibodeau, right? GM's Thibodeau.
What you do is you
Yeah.
resign.
No,
You
there's
resigned.
I mean,
different.
he
I
did-
think.
One
GM
plug
is
to
someone
control.
different. Chibis is the president, and the coach is like a middleman though. He's GM, I think, but he's like not some like known guy. So, but yeah, I don't know what Tibbs made the decision though. Tibbs had to make this decision in the end. He's gonna have to okay this. It's told the owner. So
Right. So like it goes through Thibodeau before it happens, right?
Mhm.
yes.
Yeah, so he's a limiting factor for all this. So
Like, I can't see a way to make a contender out of this Timberwolves team right now.
yeah, like they're probably like this pretty much throws them out the playoffs for next season. Like this right here.
Yeah. So I think when you're looking at a trade, you think, all right, our team has like sucked for the past 10 years. We've finally gotten to the playoffs. Let's just try and focus on getting to the playoffs again. Maybe they do go for the Clippers option of saying, okay, maybe we grab Tobias, Lou Williams, Avery Brett, like one of these like good players that aren't necessarily young, and just try and have like just try and surround Towns and Wiggins for their career and try and be like perennial first, second round exits. Just so you don't have to relocate the team.
Wizards West, maybe. I'm sorry, Goof. I'm sorry. Yeah, shoot, like perhaps
You're not going to be able to create a contender out of a team that has Towns and Wiggins.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen. I'm looking at this post on Reddit right now. Dark horse team for Jimmy Butler, the Denver Nuggets. Nigel, is that you?
I don't use Reddit.
All right. But Yeah, man. Like, yeah, I don't see any good way that I don't see how the Timberwolves come out of this like well. Do you think he's gonna get
Okay.
traded like before the season starts?
I mean, if you're the T-Wolves, that's what you want to do. You
Right.
don't want him around the cam. You don't want him because there's clearly like it's like a personal issue here, not like yeah. You just don't want to have him around, and if you're still paying him and not getting back on the court for that, then that's gonna bite into what I said earlier about how the T-Wolves, if they don't make the playoffs, then everything's for nothing.
They're
Right.
not making the playoffs anyway.
I mean, they're not going to. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they're going to either, actually, because Butler was a huge reason they even got half their wins last season.
The team is going to crash and burn, as I said in the pod. Tibbs will get fired regardless.
Do you think
It's-
Tibbs has lost his job at this point?
Yeah, like even
Yeah.
if it's not right now, it's in a few months.
Yeah. After this, I don't see how Tibbs sticks around.
No.
Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But he's the dude's probably gone.
All right. So, if the Nuggets are a black horse, can we talk about potential trade options that they have?
Yeah, let's do it.
Because honestly, they've got a lot of interesting pieces for the Timberwolves. And I think it's kind of a good situation for both, in that the Nuggets have a lot of good young players that they can't give time to. And obviously, the Timberwolves would want good young players in return.
Okay.
So does this mean the Wolves are pushing their time scale to like 2 years later instead of like
maybe no
that's an
years later
option.
at this point.
Yeah, or maybe they even just take Will Barton and say, you know, this is a worse version of Jimmy Butler, but he earns a lot less.
So who are the young pieces the Nuggets can give?
They can give up Trey Lyles, only 1 year, and is probably going to ask for a large extension, so they probably don't want him. Michael Porter Jr. Nuggets probably don't want to trade him, but
I mean, if it's Jimmy Butler, then
yeah, if Butler says he'll resign, then obviously you've got like potentially 5 All-Stars in your starting lineup.
there's also Wancho.
Yeah, Wancho
Potentially-
is like Wancho's the biggest sort of mover in this deal that the Nuggets would want to move.
Did you say 5 All-Stars in the lineup?
Yeah.
So Jokic, Gary Harris, and Jimmy Butler. Who are the other two?
Jamal Murray.
No.
You
Who's
don't
the
see
other one?
Steph.
And who's the other one?
Paul Millsap. No,
Okay, Paul Millsap is fair.
Michael Porter Jr. when he takes over Millsap's spot.
I thought Michael Porter Jr. would be more of a small forward, not like a PF like Millsap.
He big though.
Yeah, he is big.
Yeah, but like, yeah. So obviously you're not gonna get rid of Jamal Murray and Gary Harris, Jokic, and Millsap's salary doesn't match. So
I mean, like some people in sort of like Nuggets community sort of talk about, if Butler's available, do you move Harris?
I would lean probably not.
I mean, obviously, like Harris is good, but Butler's better.
Yeah. And plus
obviously-
maybe you can get enough of Gary Harris out of Jamal Murray. I don't know.
Exactly. Like, obviously, Harris is undersized, and
Yeah.
you know, that's always going to limit his defensive potential.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, I think Harris right now, on the contract he's on, which is averaging about 18 million a year right now, 16 and a half, ending at 20, and that's a
Right.
4-year contract. Like, he's locked up for a long time. I think he's actually a lot more valuable than Butler right now.
I agree. He's definitely more valuable.
I mean, like, how old's Butler? Like 30, 29?
29.
Yeah.
Yeah, so even if you lock up Butler for 4 years, he's going to be like 32, 33 by the end of that contract. Harris is going to be 28 by the end of his.
I mean, but if you think about it, is it worth like trading Gary Harris when he hasn't said he's going to sign an extension with the team with the Nuggets at this basically?
Yeah, and I think it if it's what gets you Butler, and the Timberwolves are like, we're not talking about any other options, then I think I would talk about it. But I'd also say to the Timberwolves, you got to give us something back too.
Yeah, I mean, but like, okay, but what if, but like, don't you run the risk of just Jimmy Butler bolting after the year is over, though?
Oh, you totally do. And if you did, that would be one of the worst trades ever.
Yeah, I know, because like, it just seems really risky to give away like 4 years of Gary Harris to like, who can probably get better and is gonna probably quickly become one of the best shooting guards in the league.
And he's the
my-
perfect around Jokic.
Oh yeah, for sure, that too, and then get
Michigan
Jimmy
State
Butler,
players are always the best.
and then get Jimmy Butler who might just like bolt after a year. So like. If Jimmy Butler, if you think you could convince like what's his name, Jimmy Butler to resign, then maybe. But like if you have 4 years of Gary Harris, that just might be a little bit too valuable to me. I maybe be more willing to part with like Jamal Murray because there's only 2 years left on. Well, but then again, the salaries don't match on that, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Jamal Murray's gonna get. He's probably gonna get an extremely high sort of offer, and I think the Nuggets are fine with paying him a lot, but this next offseason is pretty much the Nuggets' only chance to get a max player before they have to pay Murray. And once they pay Murray, that's their team committed.
Yeah. So if you decline the team option on Powell Millsap next season,
which
then
might happen.
which they're gonna do, then how much salary do you have to play with?
You pretty much have just under a max contract.
Okay. All right. So yeah. So you could do that, but yeah, I mean, I guess technically Kawhi got traded to a team that he said he wasn't gonna re-sign with. So if you want to like
Mhm.
take your chances on trying to convince Butler to stay, you could possibly do that. But some of the conspiracy theories going around are saying that like he's already. I'm just watching Twitter blow up over this shit. It's great.
Okay.
But like you also like but like there's some conspiracy theories going around, especially like on Twitter and stuff, of like considering the teams that he requested to get traded to, like the Nets, the Knicks, and the Clippers, makes a lot of people
Mhm.
think that like there's already some voodoo shit going on with Kyrie, that they're planning something about like trying to team up.
People talked about that like earlier.
Yeah, that was
Right.
like
No,
right at the
totally,
start of the summer.
Yeah, like people have been talking about that for a while, but like maybe now there's some credence to it, because maybe like him and Kyrie talk like, I'm gonna get out of Minnesota, I'm gonna go to the Knicks, and then you're gonna sign up with the Knicks as a free agent, and I'll sign an extension. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely think Kyrie is a huge consideration in this.
Yeah.
In that, I don't think Kyrie's going to go to the Clippers, but Kyrie would go to the Nets or the Knicks.
Yeah, totally. So like, I think also front offices have to think about that, because it's not like Kawhi where it's not like he necessarily wants to play with someone. It's just that like he wants to be out of where he is. It's more the fact that like with Jimmy Butler, he apparently wants to play with someone, and if you're the Nuggets, like you can't exactly like get Kyrie or whatever.
Yeah,
So
exactly. Yeah.
that's
This could
kinda
really be-
concerning there.
This could really be trading for 2 players then.
Ooh. Well, it depends on only if you're the Nets or the Knicks though.
Yeah. I think Clippers is just Jimmy Butler wants to live in LA.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's always nice.
I mean,
What?
if it is about playing with Kyrie, obviously the Clippers, they don't have a lot committed next season, and they can move whatever they've committed because it's Montrezl Harrell on a good contract, $6 million a year.
I don't
It's
think Kyrie wants to go to the Western Conference.
Yeah.
That might be a little bit of a culture shock to him.
Oh no! Don't you understand? Kyrie's going to LA.
Oh
So
yeah,
no.
he needs to be as close to LeBron as possible.
How else is he gonna get another ring?
Of course. But like, yeah, like it is though. I like that you brought up the trading for 3 players thing, because that actually makes it a little bit more interesting for the Nets and Knicks, just because it's like, if we go out, that also makes it a little bit more easier to stomach trading a guy like D'Angelo Russell if you're the Nets, because it's like, okay, well we'll trade you like D'Angelo Russell and salary filler or Kenneth Faried or something, and then we'll get Jimmy Butler, lock him up on an extension, and then we'll bring in Kyrie next season after he leaves the Celtics. So if you're a Nets, that definitely has me going like, interesting. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Actually, if I'm the Celtics, maybe I hear this and I think, hmm, maybe we could trade Kyrie and get something back. Because
ooh,
I think Kyrie
oh,
around, and we know the Celtics don't want that.
this is getting crazy.
Because like, if you're the Celtics, you think, oh, if Butler moves somewhere that has the space to sign Kyrie, Kyrie's gone.
I agree with that. I do agree with that very much so. Like,
But I think in a talk like that, you have to consider teams outside the teams that Butler is going to, because obviously Kyrie only lasts 1 year, and he wouldn't mind waiting until next season to team up with Butler.
right.
So I think that's a discussion for like a different day, because that would require like a lot more research.
Oh yeah, that's definitely a discussion to have though. I think I didn't think about that, but that's yeah, yeah, you never know with Kyrie and these NBA teams these days. It's just that could happen. That could really happen. Even if they like made the finals or something, like I could still see him like bolting to play with Jimmy Butler
Yeah,
and to
'cause
go
it's-
play in New York.
Kyrie already has a ring,
Yeah, that too. Like the Celtics basketball situation is the best in the league, and I agree with that. But like, it's Kyrie, but Kyrie's a weird guy, and like he already has a ring, so like he may not care about that as much, honestly.
Yeah, I feel like across the league, players are sort of feeling like I want to enjoy where I play more than care about who wins. Because right now it's kind of obvious who's gonna win.
Yeah, yeah, and that's kind of spread. That's attitude is spreading throughout the league, where it's
Yeah,
like,
because like obviously Paul George stayed in Oklahoma, where he's not gonna win anything.
right,
LeBron signed in LA with no one else, and he's not gonna win anything.
yeah, because he knows he's not gonna win. He's just like, I'm just gonna go move to LA so I can have my family and make a bunch of fucking shows.
Yeah. So until Golden State sort of breaks apart, I think that's gonna be a thing across the whole league.
Yeah, totally agree with you there. Totally agree with you. But oh my goodness, this Jimmy Butler stuff's been very, very crazy. Let me
Yeah.
look on Twitter and see if there's anything else come out. Nope.
Yeah.
Just a list of teams that you want to be traded to.
Mm. I'm trying to think, like, if the Timberwolves maybe wanted more than just a D'Angelo, they could maybe try trading other of their players, maybe try and do a little bit of a rebuild, but they hardly have any assets.
Yeah.
Maybe someone could be really interested in Tyus Jones. Like,
Yeah, that's
advanced stats say he's a great point guard.
yeah, that's the only one I could think of. I was like, maybe Tyus Jones. That's about all they also have.
Yeah. I mean, well, once Butler's gone, what do? Maybe they try and dump Wiggins.
I mean,
Or
good luck
see
with
if
that.
see if someone likes Wiggins, at least.
Once again, good luck with that.
Want too much to take it.
Just send them to like the Kings or Orlando or something. I don't know. Maybe they're dumb enough to do that. I don't know. I kind of think Wiggins at this point is a guy who can like put up really good numbers on bad teams. That's just kind of who he is.
Maybe they even trade Towns. Although I think
Okay,
if
slow down.
if they were gonna trade Towns, they'd do that instead of trading Butler.
Yeah, no, yeah, I agree. They're gonna have to figure out. They're like basically under Towns' beck and call. I think at this point.
Oh, totally. And I think I don't know if they should have actually chosen that option, because a lot of the stuff that came out about Butler, it was that he was annoyed at Towns for not putting in the effort.
Right.
And if your number one player, well, their soon-to-be number one player, isn't putting in the effort, and your number two, like, Wiggins has the body to play defense, right?
Right.
But he just doesn't put in the effort, or he doesn't put in the effort to actually learn how to play defense mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Both your star players aren't putting in effort. And that's just gonna suck. Look at any other star in the league, and they put in effort. Like, Giannis puts in effort, Davis puts in effort, Curry, LeBron.
Yeah, so maybe you're just like, well, maybe you're not putting in the effort. We need to get you out of here. Something like that.
Exactly. Yeah, like, if they trade Towns, they could get a good haul for him, because like,
Oh, yeah.
Towns is your first piece. You're not gonna win. Towns is maybe your second or third. That's a really good team.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, I need to like eat lunch, but oh my god,
Yeah.
but then that Butler trade dropped, so we had to do the emergency pod real quick. All right, that's enough for now. Once this trade happens, I'm sure we'll talk about it on the next episode of the podcast. So thank you
No,
guys
for
for
sure.
talking.
See ya.
All right, see y'all.
No worries.